Guys, and welcome back once more. We're gonna start on a new series today. Something different. Well, what are we going to do? Well, we are going to make a freaking superhero. Because we can. We're gonna make this guy. This image is a combination of two images that I found on the internet. The face is a very common one that is used a lot when it comes to modeling faces. Anybody is some drawing I found on the internet that looked awesome, so I figured, let's combine them to make one character. I made his jawline a little bit wider, so it looks a bit more, muscular and a little bit more awesome. So, what are we going to do in this series? A couple of things. We're gonna model the face and then the body, and we're gonna go hardcore into modeling characters in Maya, which means that we're gonna go into a topic called Topology. Which is the most essential topic that a character modeler should know. What is topology, you might wonder? Topology is how your edges flow, so it's edge flow, to put it simple. And what you kind of want to do is you want to follow the muscle structure or bone structure of your character with your mesh. So you want to go flow with the mesh, the muscles, I mean. If you did the car tutorial, you actually did some topology, because also, cars have topology as well. In that case, we follow the curvature of the car, which is the same thing, but car is a bit simpler than, a human body slash face. So we're going to go into that topic, hardcore. We're going to go into details about like muscles, for example, and how they work, and how they interact with each other, because the body is a very complex machine, and all the muscles interact to form the shape that we know of the body. For example, when you with the biceps, for example, it's the easiest one, or the pecs muscle here, if you wonder. So we're gonna go hardcore into muscles, and once we've done the body and head, we're gonna go into a different topic that's called hard surface modeling. So we're gonna make a futuristic armor for our character. So he'll be like I don't know, something like a Halo character, for example, or Master Chief, or something from Mass Effect or StarCraft, for example. So this is going to be a very long tutorial, probably around 15 episodes, probably like an hour each. So, but first off, we're going to start with the face today, because it's actually really difficult. The thing is, you see faces every single day, so you know what they look like, and you can easily spot if something wrong with the face. If something's slightly off, you get it into the thing called the Uncanny Valley, which means that something is a little bit off, but you can't put your finger on it. There's actually a movie, with Tom Hanks, The Express, something Christmas Express or something. It's a very common one. It's actually very creepy, so I'm gonna Google Uncanny Valley, for example, and you can see you get a shit ton of images. This is a typical example of the Uncanny Valley. Something's wrong, but you can't put your finger on it. The movie is called The Polar Express, by the way. No, I know. And it's very easy to get in that giant valley. It's very easy to get in there. So it's very difficult to actually get up here, where something looks really, really good. So what do you often do? For example, Pixar, they just don't even bother making a human that looks real. So they just go for cartoony looks. Or, for example, the movie Avatar from James Cameron, they just made the character blue. Done. So the Uncanny Valley is bypassed entirely. It's very clever, but we're gonna go like fuck it. We're just gonna go for it. We're gonna try and see if we can actually get out of the Uncanny Valley, especially with just a still image. When it comes to animation, then that's a whole different topic, because then you have to rig your character, meaning you have to add bones and joints and muscles. That's a whole different topic, which I'll do sometime in the future, but not for now. So first thing we're going to do is focus on the character itself, then the armor. So like I said, we're going to do the face first. This awesome looking face. I changed it a little bit. I made it perfectly symmetrical. So I just took one half of the face and copied it to the other side. So it's almost symmetrical. Couple of things that you should know about the face is, first off is the facial anatomy and how the face actually works. The face actually has a whole bunch of muscles that all work together to form, like for example, the laughing expression that you all know. So what you kind of want to do with the face when you're modeling it, you kind of want to mimic the muscles in the face, or try to do the muscles. You can't do it like perfectly, so everything, the edges all follow like these muscles, but that's a bit of a waste of time, because you just want to go for the expressions in this case. You just want to mimic the facial expressions that happen in the face. So let's look at the Hulk, for example. You all know the Hulk. The Hulk has some very, very, very distinct facial features that every human has, but it's very easy to see. For example, this one here, this line over here, it's a very distinct one that everybody does. Same goes for the lips, for example. It actually is a nice circle around it. The chin here has a nice edge loop. It goes like this. The eyebrows in this case, they actually go like so. And then you got wrinkles here. Wrinkles here in the nose. So you got this nice triangle here forming. But also like the eyes, because the wrinkles. So the topology of the eye is very simple. Actually, it just goes around there. This one goes to the top, like so. And then you get the wrinkles around here, here, and here. In case of the face, you don't want to just mimic the muscles, but also the bone structure, because for example here the cheekbone is very, very visible. So there's an edge loop here, goes from the ear-ish down there. Then you can actually create the cheekbone, and then of course you got the jawline here. Let's do it very dirty. This one here, one goes here as well, so create that nice indent. There's also one here, it's very subtle though, one there. And if you combine them all, you actually create this nice edge loop. For example here, same here. Then you got one line in the middle here. Then you got this dent here on the upper lip, and you can see then you can very easily create a mesh. This one down here as well. It's like this, for example. And then you got a, let's add some lines in there, and all of a sudden you got a mesh. Done. Dirty, but you get the idea, right? So this one continues there, one there, oh, there, and here, for example. So this is kind of what you want to go for. One thing though is when you're modeling a face, you kind of want to make it all quads, so all squares. You kind of really want to avoid poles, which I'll get to later, and triangles. Because poles and triangles, they are very you don't know how they will behave when you start animating it. So try to avoid them, and just, if possible, keep all quads, so all nice squares for the perfect mesh. In this case, that's one here. So ooh, crap, down there, for example, and then you got a nice looking mesh. So this is something we're gonna make in Maya, hopefully. One there. Let's do one around here, and all of a sudden, let's do this one here. Actually, done. You got a mesh. So this is what you want to get into Maya. Okay. So as you see, I've got my image here. So how do you get this one into Maya? Well, it's actually a couple of ways, but I'm just going to show you the easy way, the lazy way. So Maya, I'm going to go to my front view. Now I'm going to click on select camera right there, and then in my attribute editor, in the tab called environment, you can actually create an image plane, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click create, then I'm going to pick my image. In this case I called it ref, and done. It's lowered in with the perfect size, so you don't have to do anything. It's perfect the way it is. So I'm going to go to my left view again. I'm going to do the same thing. So again, I'm going to click on select camera, create image plane, select my image, and done. One is all the way over there, I don't know why, but let's just move it down there. Okay. Actually, I might want to flip this one. I will kind of want to. Oh, wrong one. Let's go to left view real quick. I'm just going to delete this one because it's flipped. So I'm going to go to my right view, get select camera, create image plane, and image. There you go. Let's see if it's correct this time. Yep. I think. Huh? Oh, this is annoying. I think it's this one actually. This one. There you go. Okay, it was correct. Sorry, I just got a little bit confused. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one a little bit to the right so that it doesn't intersect this part here. So you don't want to have it like this. So move it outward, something like this. Okay. And the back side is something we'll just do just later on. It's not very important right now. Okay, so how do you start? Right. There are a couple of ways of modeling. In my, I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger though. There you go. There are a couple of methods. One of them is called box modeling, where you just have a box and you start extruding outwards and add more and more edge loops to get the shape in there. It works, but I don't like it per se, because when you're modeling a face, when you're modeling something very complex, where the edge flow is actually really important, you kind of want to have as much control as possible. And when you have a box and when you start adding edge loops, you kind of lose that control. So hence I don't prefer it. It is though really simple to create a very simple shape quickly. So for example, for the body, you can get the shape of the body and the volume of the body really quickly. So in that case, it actually is helpful. But I just don't like it. But then again, that's just my personal preference. So in this case, whatever rocks your boat. But I'm gonna go for the edge modeling, which is just taking an edge and then extruding outward and outward until you get the shape that you want. So we're gonna do exactly that. So I'm gonna go to my front view and I'm gonna zoom in on the face, and then it's like, okay, where do you start, right? I tend to start at the eyes. I don't know why, but that's what I do. So I'm gonna do the same thing here this time. So I'm gonna go with my eye. I'm gonna create a plane right there. That's it. I'm gonna make sure that it's not actually inside the plane here. So I'm gonna move it forward to this angle here. Maybe align it a little bit already with the eye itself, so it should be there. Okay, this one should be on the other side actually. There you go, perfect. Okay, then I'm gonna go to my material attributes and I'm gonna up the transparency so you can actually see through it, like so. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this edge here, move it a little bit that way. Vertex. Okay, I'm always start at the center of the eye. I don't know why again, but I just do. And now I'm just gonna follow the eye shape and I'm gonna create the very simple part of the eye. So I'm gonna grab the edge here, I'm gonna hit extrude, and I'm just gonna keep on doing it. This is the part with the tear ducts. It's a little bit special. I'll show you why in a little bit. So again, extrude this way up. Okay. Next part is a major pitfall that I see go wrong all the time. So I'm gonna go and show you why and how and, well, mostly what. So when you look at the eyes, for example, let's grab Tom Cruise. No, I actually got a different image. Let's grab this one. So what you see here is that the upper eyelid, well, what you tend to see, I'm gonna open the Photoshop. I'll just make a pretty picture out of it. Most people, what they do is they think that the eye is a closed loop, which it actually is not. So what they do is create a very simple edge loop around here that follows the shape of the eye, right? Makes sense. But that's not how it works. The upper eyelid actually goes over the lower eyelid. So what you get is something like this. You get the shape here. And then this one goes over it and continues, because this part here actually creates the wrinkles that you see here. This part, that edge loop creates this part here. In this case, this is Tom Cruise. So what are we going to do in my eye then? Well, I'm going to grab this edge and again I'm going to extrude it one more time. But I'm going to make it follow through. So I'm going to make sure that it can actually continue. In this case, create a spiral. I want it to go like this. So what I do is I leave it here, and then I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to add an edge here, and then I'm going to just merge the vertices together. Right, so target weld that one to that one, like so. Then I'm going to massage the vertices so that they're in the right place. This one should be there, for example. Okay, maybe a little bit like this. Okay, like so. So now what you have, this loop can actually continue onward and create this dent, and also can create the wrinkles that you want to achieve. So there's something, it's small, But it's actually really important, so make sure that you do it like this. This is the correct way, unless of course you're making like a cartoon figure. That's really not that important, but for now, if I were you, I'd just do it like this. Okay. Let's give it a little bit more shape, so I'm gonna add more edge loops. Again, this one, here, here, oh, here, and here. So we can define the shape a little bit better, so it actually looks like an eye. This one should be there, for example. There. This one should be a little bit higher, so you get this nice pear shape in there. Also a little bit higher. Okay. Then grab the bottom ones and just make sure that they are the size of the actual eyelid. A little bit higher probably. Something like this. And maybe even higher. Something like that, maybe. Okay. Next step is making sure that they actually line up in the right view as well, because right now we just did the front view. So I'm gonna grab a face here. I'm gonna move it backwards. Then in my right view, you can see that everything is not properly aligned, but we'll get to that. So I'm gonna grab vertex, then I'm gonna move these where they should be. So this one should be a little bit more that way, for example. Maybe this one even further. Okay. And then you just keep on continuing placing the edges where they should be. So this one should be on there-ish probably. This one should be a little bit higher. A little bit to the back, I'm guessing. So I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, there you go. This one should go to the back. I'm going to show you a simple trick to make sure that everything actually aligns properly. Let's go to right view again. Right view. Make sure that these parts here align as well. So this one should be a little bit way back. Here-ish. And there-ish. Create a circle. And this one as well. Okay. This one is way out there though. So I'm gonna like so. Okay. So how do you know that it actually is correct? Well, you don't at this stage. So I'm gonna show you a simple trick. What you can do is what I always do as well. Is you just first off set the transparency again to make it black. Then what you can do is just front view and then just add a simple sphere. So you have a rough idea what the shape of the eye will look like. So something like this probably. And then just move it forward. So it actually goes through it. And I tend to align it with the upper part here. So it's sort of like this maybe. Then you can see the shape is completely wrong. So I'm going to move it a little bit forward. Something like, oh, let's do the lower one. There you go. And then you just make sure that the vertices and edges align with that sphere. So grab this edge for example and move it forward. And this part here is still inside the sphere, that's fine, that we don't care about that, but we want to make sure that the vertices here are visible. This one should go back, like so. This one should probably go back as well. Oh, this one pretty good. Forward. Maybe a little bit to the side. Maybe a bit more. And this one as well. Actually, I'm gonna move it a little bit toward the back. Let's move the eye a little bit, something like this. Okay. You can actually check it as well by just lowering the transparency again. You can see the place is wrong, so it should be here. Let's do it again. Then the eye is probably wrong as well. The eye itself, so let's move it a little bit backward. Something like this. Okay. Maybe further. I kind of like this though. Okay. It's a bit tricky to see where it should be, where you want it to be. So let's lower down the transparency by a lot. The eye itself looks pretty solid, the place of the eye at least, but this one looks a bit weird. Should be higher. This one is way out there though. Okay, maybe sphere a little bit forward. Done. Then you just try to align them again with that sphere. So this part looks pretty good. You should be a little bit further back, something like this. This one as well. This one should be all the way back, something like this. And then it gets a little bit tricky. Well, not per se tricky, but the part is a little bit special with the tear ducts. This part here. As you can see with Tom Cruise, you can see that this part actually points outwards again towards the nose, so it points out. The inside is pointing inwards with the tear ducts, but the outside of this edge loop, so this part here, should be pointing outwards, so like I have right now. This looks pretty okay as it is. Okay, so let's go to right view again. I'm going to grab all the vertices here, I'm just going to move them back, so they create the actual eyelids. Again, that this happens is perfectly fine, we don't care at this point. But if you want to, you can move them a little bit backwards. It's fine. Assume okay. And let's delete this sphere. Let's check it, smooth it down, so you can see if it actually looks properly. It looks fine. Sweet. And it's nothing more than tweaking. So make sure that you go into your perspective view a lot, and just turn around the model. So you see actually everything looks okay-ish. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just that it feels right. Okay. Sweet. Let's save this quickly. Let's call this, oh, wrong folder. Head 2, because I already have one. Okay. Now what? Well, now we're gonna extrude outwards. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab all these edges here, all of them, so I just double click on it. I'm gonna go to my edge and then extrude, but I'm not gonna extrude it, I'm gonna hit scale. I'm gonna scale it outwards, like this. So you get this giant ring, which is exactly what I want. Oh, it's being annoying. Okay. And let's go again, I'm gonna lower it down a little bit. First thing I'm doing, I'm gonna space them out a little bit further so it actually looks a little bit better. So this spot should be here, for example. There. What you kind of want to have is that the edges here are very organic and very fluid, I should say. So it's not like weird angles in there, not something like this, because this is not very fluid. You kind of want to have something like a nice line that's nice and straight-ish almost. There you go. This one should be a little bit lower maybe. Okay, so this part here is for the actual eyebrows. Right now they will look pretty stupid because they're not actually correct. But to make them well correct, we need to add more edge loops. But it's something we'll do later on. Also make sure that this part here is aligned, so I'm going to move this one a little bit down. This one as well, a little bit down. Oh, to the right actually, I mean. Something like this. Also on the inside, make sure that they are all properly following the muscles. Okay, this part should be a little bit more towards the middle. There you go. And again, you check, see everything looks okay. This looks pretty okay so far. Save. Okay. So we're gonna leave the eye for now, because we're gonna move on for a second, and then later on we'll come back to it, add more detail to actually get this part a bit more volume, so that it actually feels like an actual eyelid. So what I'm gonna do next though is I'm gonna do something that I just prefer to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this edge here, I'm gonna extrude it, and I'm gonna make the nose bridge. So right there, and then on my right view I'm gonna make sure it's up there. There you go. It looks stupid, you get like this. What I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna add one more edge loop here-ish, and I'm gonna use this edge here to create the basic shape of the face. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna extrude it downwards. So down, extrude, something like this maybe. Let's do it in the right view actually. So just go for the nose part here, extrude down, oh, extrude there, center of the lips, this part here, then the chin, and then I'm gonna leave it like this. So we just get the basic shape here till we get to the neck part, so stuff like this. I'm gonna move this one to the side so we get the nice chin shape in there. Then I'm gonna grab this edge here that we just made, and I'm gonna extrude it outwards to create the jawline up there to here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to get the rough shape of the face in there. So I'm gonna move one a little bit downwards to the right. I'm gonna Not that good actually, so I'm gonna extrude upwards and create the part where the ears are attached to, so this part here. There-ish, and then again extrude upwards to get to the skull. So something like there-ish probably. A little bit higher, something there. This part should be there, roughly in the center. This part should be a little bit outward though, so I'm gonna grab these two and rotate them, something like this. Maybe these ones as well. There you go. A little bit too far. Again, we're gonna add an edge loop here, so we get a nice skull shape in there, something like this. Okay. Now it actually starts to look like a face, as you can see. Let's smooth it out so that even more. It starts to look like something, right? So what I'm going to do next though is I'm going to go to my edit, duplicate special, and then I'm going to set it to instance and scale -X and flip it, so we can work on both sides. As you see though, it's getting black. It's very annoying. But what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go to my renderer and then legacy default viewport, and it's fixed. It's stupid. I don't know why it's doing that, but oh well. Okay, this part should be a little bit aligned, a little bit better though. There you go. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna grab this part here, a little bit, give it a little bit more shape, and then we're gonna do something very annoying, and that's called creating the nose. It sounds easy, but the nose is actually really annoying. So what I'm gonna do first though is I'm gonna make sure this one is aligned at the tip of the nose, roughly. Right there-ish. Maybe this one a little bit to the left. Crap, that's annoying. There. Make sure these ones are okay. Okay, then I'm gonna add one more loop to create the actual nose shape, something like this here. And then make sure that the shape itself is like a nose. So this should be a little bit upwards. This should be a little bit probably downwards. This one should be up again. I'm gonna move this one to the right so we get this nice, well, ball of the nose, like there. It should start to look like a nose, roughly. It does actually. Okay. Then what we're gonna do is very simple. I'm gonna grab these two edges here. I'm just gonna extrude it outward, just a little bit to the right, and scale it down so it actually fits the size of the nose itself. There-ish. This one should be there, I'm guessing. Let's actually set the transparency a little bit higher so we get the shape in there. This one, yep. Okay. Then to the right, we're gonna do the same thing here. This one should be there. This one should be there. And this one should be there-ish. Maybe a little bit higher. There you go. Okay. Nose. For now. It's starting to look more and more actually like a human being. Ish. Okay. Oh crap, wrong button. This still looks a little bit weird though. I'm gonna move this one a little bit to the left. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna grab this part here. I'm gonna start extruding it again upwards. So first part here, where you get the ridge between the nose bridge and the eyebrows. And let's go to the right view. This one should be all the way in, something like this, maybe a little bit low like that. And then extrude outward, something like this, and then all the way up there. One more time, there. So we can actually bridge these two parts together. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this camera. This is annoying. I pressed the wrong button, I suppose. Oh, actually perspective. Oops. Hide. So I'm going to add an edge loop here, so we have something to bridge to. So this one, that modeling toolkit, and hit bridge. There you go. Let's get the shape right, or roughly right. So this one should be a little bit wider. This one as well, a little wider. There you go. So it doesn't look as stupid. Okay. The reason why I did this, because it just looks very superhero-ish like. When you have this very distinct eyebrow ridge, it just looks better. It just looks more awesome. The head is really tall though, but we'll fix that. Really tall actually. No. That's fine. Let's go to front view again, and this part should be a little bit wider. You can see the nose as well, the actual nose shape. Let's grab the image here. So when you can see here that it actually goes a little bit wider. So we're going to do the same thing here. So grab these two, just pull them out, something like this. This should be wide as well then. Not too wide though, but something like this maybe. Okay. There we go. Let's just play around a little bit with the chin. There you go. Okay. Let's continue with the eyes here. First thing I'm doing, I'm gonna grab these parts here, and I'm just gonna extrude them down. And that's it. And I'm just gonna leave them there for now. But it just makes our life a little bit easier, so we know what the shape will be like. So this part should be there, for example. This should be there, and there. Again, right shape. Make sure that you follow the lines of his face. His face was pretty flat, so I'm gonna not do that much about it. So I'm gonna grab this one here, for example, and just follow this line that I've just created. So this part should be a little bit there. Let's go to our view. This one. Let's do a little bit higher, actually, like this. Same here. So it just doesn't look that creepy anymore. And I'm gonna bridge this part here to this part here. So first thing I need is one more edge loop to here, for example. Then I'm gonna bridge these two together. And bridge. There you go. It's starting to get shape, right? It's starting to get shape. Okay. Let's add a multicut here, so we can actually weld this together. So target welds, this one should be there, for example. There you go. Let's go to our front view. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here, roughly. And so I'm gonna grab them, and these will actually form the eyebrows themselves. So I'm gonna extrude outwards. This will give the shape of it. So this one should be a little bit towards that side. Again, and just follow the flow of the lines. In this case, that direction. And again, do the same thing in the right view. But they shouldn't go that far, to be honest. So I'm gonna maybe even pull this one all the way out. You can actually do this, maybe something like this. Give it a little bit more of this distinct eyebrow ridge. Just makes them look more epic. This one. See? This works a little bit better, in my opinion. But I get the feeling that they don't align properly, so let's see here. This is the... no, they don't actually. And grab all these vertices here. All of them. Just gonna move them a little bit forward. Maybe like this, yeah. Maybe a little bit too much. There you go. That looks a little bit better. Yep. Okay. Nailed it. This one should be there and there. Okay. Let's check it again. Okay. The cool thing about this edge loop here is that you can actually make them look evil by just very simple manipulation. You can, for example, if you move this down, you get this very evil look. So this edge loop is actually very important. But for now, I'm just gonna make him look surprised, because he is apparently. So, okay, let's do the same thing here. So I'm gonna make a multicut here. Oh crap, wrong button. I'm just gonna weld them for now. I'll probably change this in the future, but for now, let's just keep like this, and let's just bridge these two together. And bridge. There you go. The start of a character. Looks pretty okay, in my opinion. Let's move it one a little bit higher. You can actually bridge these two together if you want to as well. Just don't do these yet, because we're gonna make the nose wings, nose flaps. So first thing I'm gonna do, as usual, I'm gonna insert an edge loop here, roughly. So a little bit towards that side over here, not in the middle, for a couple of reasons. Because we want to create this very distinct look, this part here. It actually follows the nose and here, and then creates that awesome looking muscle or fat or tissue in general. So you get this very cool looking angry man feel to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this edge loop here, which I did. Then I'm going to give it a little bit more shape. So this one should be probably a little bit lower. This one as well, probably. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this edge loop here, this one. I'm going to start extruding it. So first one, I'm going to follow that shape here that we just saw. So I'm going to make him go all the way around here. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to rotate it and then extrude it again as usual. So just for now, just get it very roughly in there. So this one should be there, for example. Then you can extrude it. Should be a little bit to that side, and then again extrude it outwards till you get to this point here, for example. And then let's rotate it. Rotate further, and then extrude again till here, till to the actual chin. So we get to this point here, and we're gonna leave it for there for a moment. First thing we're gonna do is make everything look properly. This looks really stupid. So first thing I'm gonna do is go to my right view and fix all these. So vertex, and just make sure that they actually look good and on the place there should be. So this one should be there, for example, not that one. This one should be there. It's a bit of an annoying process, but finish this one. Yep. And there, last but not least, this one. Okay, let's go to the front view again to check everything. Let's align this one with that one. This should be a little bit higher. Should be there. A little bit lower. Something like this maybe. No, this should be rotated. Like there-ish. Okay. And that's good enough for now. Let's see what it looks like. Then you get this very distinct edge loop that is needed for making a character laugh, for example, or just make him more like the Hulk, this part here. This bulge of fat and tissue. It's very important that you have that. Okay. Looks pretty solid. Next thing I'm going to do is going to make myself a little bit easier. I'm going to bridge this part here for now. Bridge it, there you go. Because we want to add one more loop in there. First thing though, I'm going to move this one again to left. Maybe a little bit down. Okay. Because you want to give this wing a bit of this nose flap a little bit more volume. So I'm going to insert one more edge loop, which I'm going to use to create a little bit more of a bulge in there, like this. So it actually looks like an actual nose. Okay, let's go to vertex. This one should be a little bit about that angle. Same here. A little bit lower, for example. So you get a bit more of an actual nose shape, as you can see. Of course, you can make this part here a bit more extreme. So you get this nice shape in there. This looks pretty fine. Okay. Okay. Looking good. A little bit higher maybe. A little bit lower. So the key is always to get very nice organic edge flow in here. Because the nose is very organic, so you might want to keep that. So this one, let's give a nice shape to it. Nice roundish shape. It's annoying. Okay. Let's save it. See what it looks like. Again, as usual. Spin around it and see if it actually looks good. I kind of like the shape though of the nose. It's not perfect, but that's something for the tweaking part. Okay. Now that we got this line here, this part, the edge here. So what am I going to do with this one? Well, you can of course just merge together with this one. You can do that, of course, it's perfectly valid, but I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to extrude outwards. I'm going to move it all the way up, like so. So I'm going to add one more edge loop here. Now I'm just going to bridge it together. So this part here will become part of the nose ridge. Oh, I did the wrong button. This one go there. This one should go there. See, then you get this nice part. Also get this very nice distinct dent in here, which I really like. You might want to move a little bit forward though. a little bit too deep right now. Like this. Give a little bit more volume by doing something like this. Okay. Of course, we're going to add more edge loops here anyway, and a bit later. But for now, let's just keep it like this. Okay, as you can see, everything is starting to line up perfectly. For example, right now, what we can do, of course, is just grab this edge here. Sometimes the tool is very annoying. This one edge here and this one edge here. You can bridge them. Perfect. This one here and here. See, everything's starting to line up perfectly. Actually starting to look like a freaking face. We need one more edge loop here because we have a port here that actually needs to be attached. So again, as usual, insert edge loop. Same old, same old. Let's make sure it's aligned properly. This part should be there. Maybe should go a little bit toward the back. Same here. Then again, bridge. Cool. Actually starting to look like a human being. Nice. He's nice. Okay. Then of course you can also bridge this port here to that one, but you can see the distance is pretty wide, and then you get this very, I'll just show it's easier. So if we grab this one for example and then bridge it, you get this very long, very dirty polygon, because you kind of want to avoid these very stretched faces. What you can do of course is massage it a little bit better so everything aligns, and that this line here also is nice and organic. And you can also create this part here, which I like, because I'll show you in a little bit. So let's just move on. Let's just make this a little bit bigger to get the shape right, and this should be there, for example. Okay. So far, so good. Let's see what it looks like again, one more time. Pretty. Okay. Let's, oh, that looks stupid. This one should be a little bit up there. I don't really like this though, because you kind of want to have the faces roughly the same size. I'm just gonna move it a little bit up, and then we can add one more loop here. It's actually really helpful, so I'll just do it later on though. But I'll show you. Okay, let's put a bit more focus on the eyes for now, and then in the next part we'll do the mouth. So let's do the eyes a little bit more. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this edge again. This time I'm going to extrude it inward. So edit mesh, extrude inward, and make it smaller. So you get this nice part there. And then again one more time, it's extrude then inward. We don't care about that you can see through it or whatever. We just make it nice and soft. There you go. Then we can start adding edge loops. One here for example. We kind of don't want to do that though. Oh, it does it by itself? Oh, that's annoying. That's annoying. Don't know why though. Huh. Wow, it actually makes squats for me. In this case I don't want it though, but fix squats, turn it off. There you go. That's better. Oh. Delete this edge here. Because what I kind of want to do though, what it did was awesome, but I kind of want to make it flow like this. And this part should go all the way in that direction. Something like this. Oh, hey. There you go. For a reason, actually. Let's go to front view. No, front view. We can now use this edge loop here to create the overlap that we saw earlier on. We can actually use like this to create the overlap of the eyelids. So let's zoom out. Let's grab this one. Also, let's just give it a little bit more volume to the eyelids. Something like this. See, now you get this nice shape in there. Same here. You can actually see it follow through, which is exactly what we want to have. So let's do it here as well. So it's there like that. Maybe a little bit lower. That looks pretty good. Let's go to right view again. Same here. Just want to give it a little bit of a bulge. To give the illusion that there is an actual eye in there and not just some empty space. Same here, a little bit of a bulge so that actually it looks like an eye. So you can see here the volume is starting to pick up, and this part here that actually follows through is perfect. Okay, that's good. That's good. You can add more edge loops if you want to. You can do a here one here as well. So insert edge loop. Oh, I should turn on. There it is. So autocomplete past quads. There you go. Then you can add even more detail. You can add, for example, what you can do though is just grab these parts here and create a bit of a fat tissue. So give it a little bit of a bulge in there as well. Maybe even a little bit wider. So it gives a bit more, a bit more volume. What happens a lot though with, especially with male faces, that the fat here is actually overhanging or hanging over the upper eyelids. So you get something that looks something like this, for example. So it hangs a bit over it, and it actually looks really natural. See? Maybe a little bit too much, but you get the idea. But I'm gonna undo this because what I kind of want to do though is I want to keep it as simple as possible at first. I don't want to add too much detail, but this is the part where you can get carried away easily, but just adding more and more and more detail till you get lost in all the detail. So what I'm gonna do for now though is I'm gonna maybe massage the vertices a little bit more, and then in the next part we'll move on to the mouth. First I'm gonna grab that sphere again. Sphere. Oh, I deleted that. That's not really helpful. I shouldn't have done that. Let's create the eye again. It looks a little bit better, right? It looks a bit more like an actual human being. So let's move it a little bit back. There you go. Same here. That side. There you go. That looks a lot better. Actually, it's starting to look like a human being. So in the next part we'll do the mouth and the rest of the face here, maybe the entire face itself. So I will hope that I will see you guys again next time.